Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to you. And today we are going to begin with charts and graphs. Along with charts and graphs, I will also be doing an introduction to macros, that is how to record a macro in order to automate your tasks. And I will also be trying to squeeze in an introduction to the basics or the concept of dashboard. These are the things planned for today, and with that, let us get started. The first type of chart that I have over here is a line chart, and if you see very carefully, along with the regular line chart, there is also a dotted line called moving average. I repeat, there is also a dotted line called as moving average. In order to create this chart, we begin by creating a simple line chart. You have the sheet called line chart in your data set shared. You need to go to that sheet in order to try as or follow along with me. This is the data. I'm going to select the data. And after selecting the data, I will go to the insert tab. One option is I can go ahead with recommended charts. Recommended charts, just like recommended pivot table, is Excel's recommendation for charts based on the data that has been shared. It is Excel's recommendation based on the data that has been shared. So you can either go with this, okay? And the other thing which we can do is we can go to all charts, and from line chart we can choose a line chart of our choice. We can go to line chart and we can choose a line chart of our choice. So over here we will choose line chart, click on OK, and this is the line chart. Click and drag. This is the line chart that has been created. Now along with this, if you want a legend is a color key which represents items on the chart. A legend is a color key which represents items on a chart. Okay. So if I go to chart design, in charts layout, you have add chart element. Add chart element enables you to add trend lines. It enables you to add data labels. It also enables you add a data table below your data, and it also adds a legend, which is a color key for your chart. Can you see this? This is the live preview as I am moving over the data. Click on this and here you will see series 1. Now actually this chart is all about permanent settlers. If I would like the label permanent settlers to be shown here instead of series 1, under chart design, I will have to go to select data and I can see series 1. I will click on edit and the series name I will pick up from you. Click on OK. Click on OK again, and this is permanent settlers. So here, as you can see, I have my data. From the data, I could pick up the legend title, and from the legend title, it automatically picked up the title of my chart. Can you all try this much before I go ahead with trend line? Can everyone please try this much before I go ahead with trend line? Let me know when you all complete in the chat box. Let me know when you all complete in the chat box. Please let me know when you all completed in the chat box. Okay, we'll wait for 1 more minute till all the other participants complete. Sure, I'll repeat. In order to create a chart with a trend line of a moving average, we first select the data of the chart. After selecting the data, we go to the Insert tab. Now, under Insert, we also have a section called Recommended Charts. If we click over here, we get Excel's recommendation based on Excel, based on the data which has been selected. If you would like to go ahead with recommended charts, you can go ahead with recommended charts. Otherwise, you can click on all charts, which will give you the different types of charts that are possible for this particular selected area of data. Since my sample data is a line chart, I will click on line chart and say OK. The line chart has been created, but I would also like to add a legend or a key. This is added from chart design under chart layout under chart elements. From here, I can go to the legend section and ask for a legend on the right side. If I say top, my legend moves to the top. If I say left, my legend moves to the left. And if I say bottom, my legend moves to the bottom. When I click on the legend to the right, I will have my color key to the right side and it will enable me to see what does this particular color denote on my chart. Click on right side, but here you will see series name. Instead of series name, I would like the title Permanent Settlers, and for that, under chart design, under data, I will go and reselect my data. Click on select data, click on edit, click on series name and click on permanent settlers. Click again over here and say OK. And again say OK, and this is your permanent settlers legend to the right side. You will also see the name Permanent Settlers has been saved on the top. Now what I am going to do is, I am now going to add the trend line. Under chart design, under chart layouts, in the drop down, you have trend line. And in trend line, I will go ahead with a moving average. So here, when I hover over moving average, you will see the live preview as well as the legend with the moving average. But this is not very impactful, the line. So I will click on the line. If you see, the line is selected. And under format, I will increase the thickness of the line from weight. So here I have increased the weight. If I don't want a dotted line and I want a line with dashes, I can choose line with dashes. And now in the graph, I will see line with dashes. If I want to change the color of the line, to red, I can go to shape outline and choose a red outline in order to denote the data. Please try trend line. Please try trend line. From add chart element, trend line, moving average. Once you all are done, let me know. We can go to the next type of chart. Once you all are done, you can go to the next type of chart. We'll wait for 1 more minute for everyone to complete, and then we will go ahead. This one is a simple chart. All we have to do is we have to select the data, and after selecting the data, we will choose this type of line chart with markers. We will choose this type of line chart with markers. Select the data, and from insert, under the line chart category, choose line with markers. Under the category, choose line chart with markers. The chart will not be shown properly because the selection is not up to the mark. In order to do that, we will go and reselect the data. I repeat, we will go and reselect the data. So under data, under select data, under series 1, go to edit. Series 1 is referring to column C. So I will give the series a name. And here in the values, I will take these values. Click on OK. In the next one, I will again go to edit. Again in series name, I'll give 2011. And in the values, I will select from here. As soon as I do that and I click on OK, and I click on OK again, you will see that the chart shows properly. What was happening is when I took the whole data, it was taking 2010 along with the other numbers and plotting it on the same scale of the axis. I repeat, it was taking the value 2010 along with the other numeric values and plotting it on the same axis. In order to avoid that, I needed to go to chart design, and under data, I had to go and decide from edit the labeling for the year and then the remaining data for the chart. I had to decide the labeling for the year and the remaining data for the chart. Please complete this and let me know. Yes, I will repeat it one more time. I'm going to select the whole data here like this. If you want, take the labels. If you don't want to take, you can take the data like this also. So without the labels, you can select the data like this. If you're taking the labels, you can select the data like this. Go to insert and under insert, you will choose line with marks. But what is happening is the year is also getting plotted along with the other numbers. So for that, we will need to go and select the data. So click on select data, click on edit, choose the series name and select the other items. Click on series 2, click on edit again, select the series name and select the series values. This will prevent the number values from getting mixed up with the year. So now the years are considered as the labeling, whereas the number values are the ones plotted on the chart. Click on OK, and this is the chart. These tiny in-cell charts are called sparkle lines. They are not very useful to draw conclusions from your data or to see trends in the data, but they give you like an overall idea of how your data is performed. They are tiny in-cell charts. So basically, if you have 8 or 10 or 12 items, you can represent them in a single small cell, okay, in the form of sparkle line, which are also called in-cell charts. They are small and they basically give you an overview of the data. So for that, take an empty cell. I'm going to zoom a little bit so that you can see these charts. They are very small and they fit in a cell. Select an empty cell and under insert, under sparkle line, click on line. First, they will ask you, choose the data that you want. Choose the data that you want. So for that, we need to select the data. So take the mouse and select the data. Okay. Click again over here. Choose where you want the sparkle line to be placed. Choose where you want the sparkle line to be placed. So for that, you can go and choose a cell, which is an empty cell. Click on OK. And here you have the sparkle line. After that, what you can do is you can add markers. Markers will give you pointers. Markers will give you pointers of how the chart will look when all of the points are plotted. But if you want, you can go for first point and last point. And you can go for low points. This will tell you which are the dips in the data, which is the starting point of the data, and which is the ending point of your data. This is the line sparkle line chart. If you don't want the line chart, at any given time, you can click on column chart and you will get a column chart. I repeat, if you want a column chart, you will get a column chart. Once your chart is created, you can also decide marker color. So high points can be made in purple color. Low points can be made in yellow color. So basically what you can do is you can customize the chart in the form of high points and low points. This is a column chart in the form of a sparkle line. This is a line chart in the form of column, in the form of sparkle line. Now, when you have line or column, it shows fully or properly. But in case of win and loss, all items are shown with same level. All items are shown with same level. Please try sparkle line chart with the data. See, for 10 items or 15, you can use a sparkle line because the chart is in a cell. So it's a tiny in cell chart. So if there are 100 items, it will not, you won't be able to understand anything in the cell. Let me show you the win and loss chart once to show you that all items are shown with same level. Go to insert, click on win loss, go and select the data. So I'm selecting 2011's data. We already have the location selected, which is cell D46. Click on OK. And here you will see all the values with same height. If I have some negative value, they will be also of same height. So if you see carefully over here, minus 22 and minus 56 are same height below as compared to the items on top. So in win and loss chart, you really cannot decipher any information because all positive values and all negative values have same height. I repeat, all positive values and all negative values have same height. Please try. Okay, let's go to this particular chart. I'm zooming in a little bit so that we are able to see. Now this chart over here is a filled area chart. So in an area chart, if there are large time spans, it can be represented in a nice manner. Now if you see in column 1, I have the years. In column 2, I have the months. Column 3, I have the number of visitors. Now what I need to do is I need to select the data. After selecting the data, go to insert, go to recommended charts. Under all charts, there is area chart and I will go ahead with this filled area chart. I will go ahead with this filled area chart. Click on it, say OK, click and drag and create the area chart. Please try this, everyone. Let me know when you all complete. After doing the tiny in-cell charts called sparkle line, in this particular example, we will be using formulae to create barcode type charts, which are single cell charts. So basically, based on the data, they will fill the cell with barcode type arrangement. So for that, we are going to use repeat function. For that, we will use the repeat function. Is equal to REPT, open that. First is the text. Text stands for what would you like to display in the cell. Text stands for what would you like to display in the cell. Text stands for what would you like to display in the cell. So open inverted commas, pipe, close inverted commas. Open inverted commas, pipe, close inverted commas. Then
ते तू
comma
श्वेता
as
आने
a
के बाद ना
separator
श्वेता से पूछ तेरा लीव्स कितना बाकी है
is
इस
equal
ये
to
बंदे का 7 एनुअल और 3 कैजुअल
is equal to repeat. Who's on mute? Yeah, please be on mute, everyone. Yeah. Is equal to repeat and pipe. Is equal to repeat and pipe. Okay. After doing that, you will take the number 97. So take reference of the number 97. Take the number 97 as the reference. Now, if I ask for 97 pipes, I repeat, if I ask for 97 pipes, my whole cell will get filled, correct? So I will divide 97 by, say, around 10, because 10 is the second largest number in this list, or 1/10 of the value, whichever you have handy. Close bracket, enter. Now you will see that this cell has been filled. Come to the corner, drag it down, and you will see these barcode type symbols have been shown for the entire column of cells. These are single cell charts which represent data in a single cell. Please try everyone. Is equal to repeat, REPT, open bracket, open quotes, pipe, close quotes, because pipe is considered as text, comma, number of times select the reference, single cell, and divided by, you can take 7 or 5, so that it doesn't give you 97 entries, rather it gives you fewer entries in the cell. Then you can go and make it bold. Also, you can change the font to script. By changing the font to script, you will get closer lines. Otherwise, you might get lines which are very far. So script is the font which has been used. But even if you use any other font like Cambry or Calibri, you will still more or less get a similar output. You can also use Cambry, yeah, as the font. Please try this, everyone. Single cell in cell charts which show one number in one cell. What is the difference between a sparkle line and this? Sparkle line, whole data represented in single cell. This one number represented in one cell. We'll wait for the other participants to complete, and then we will start with the horizontal bar chart. We will start with horizontal bar chart. Let me know when you will complete this so we can proceed. Okay, let us proceed. So I'm going to select this data, and now we are going to create a horizontal bar chart. Click on insert, and from recommended charts, we will choose clustered bar chart. Click on OK. This is a normal bar chart which represents the data. But if you would like the items to be represented in reverse order, what we can do is under access options, we have access options again, and from here we can choose the checkbox for categories in reverse order. In this manner, your normal clustered bar chart will reverse the categories in a descending order and display it to you. Your regular bar chart will represent the categories in reverse order and show it to you. Please try. Let's go to the next type of chart. Now, if you see this data, if you see this data, if you see this data, 2009 is in one column, 2010 is in another column, and 2011 is in the next column. Here what I'm going to do is first I'm going to come and select the data. The labels have not been selected. I repeat, the labels have not been selected. Only the data has been selected. The labels have not been selected. Only the data has been selected. Click on Insert, and under Insert, go to Recommended Charts, and you will get this type of clustered column chart. Under Recommended Charts, most of the time under Recommended Charts, you get something which will fit the purpose of representation or of analysis. So if you are happy with the option that is being shown, you can go ahead with. Click on OK. And here I have my clustered column chart. I repeat, here I have my clustered column chart. Now, to this chart, what I am going to do, I will click on Change Chart Type and click on the last option here, which is Combo Chart. Here, in the line chart, I will choose line with markers, and here I will choose normal line. So within a single chart, we have three different styles of chart plotting 3 different years data. So 2009 data is plotted, 2010 data is plotted, and 2011's data has been plotted. Click on OK, and this is the data. This is the chart. If we want to select the labels, let me scroll to the top. It will help me. Click on Select Data, And under series 1, click on edit. You will see D column. In D column, since we have 2009's data, I will click here, click over here and click here. Click on OK. Then click on the next one. Click again on edit. Click on the series name. Click here and say OK. And then on the third series, again click on edit. Click here, click on 2011 and say OK. Click again on OK. And now you can see you have 2009, you have 2010, and you have 2011's data being shown on this particular chart. Please try this. This is a combo chart, but not plotted on two axes. It is plotted on the same axis, but it is a combo chart because three different styles of charts are being shown within the same chart. Please try. Please try this. Have the other participants finished combo chart? Now here in this data, again, we have a combo chart. But if you see the data here, in one column, you have the number of visitors in normal numeric format. In the next column, you have the number of visitors in percentage format. So in one column, you have the number of visitors in number format. In the next column, you have the number of visitors in percentage format. Select the data. Click on Insert. Under Recommended Charts, go to All Charts and choose Combo Chart. Select Combo Chart. Now here if you see, the clustered column chart is shown plotted along this axis, but the percentage value chart is shown along line 0. That is because this axis shows numbers in numeric format, whereas the data of percentage of total is in percentage format. I repeat, the data of the percentage of total is in percentage format. Now, what I need to do is I need to enable the second axis. So it becomes a dual axis chart where along this axis, my visitors are plotted and the new axis added here. For example, the percentage one, my number of visitors are plotted along this axis. So along this axis, I have my values plotted, and along this axis, I have percentage items plotted. So here I am enabling the secondary axis. You can use a combo chart whenever you want, but the secondary axis is only enabled when the data is in two different numeric formats. The secondary axis is only used when the data is seen in two different axes. Click on OK. And here we have our dual axis chart. We can click on add chart element and enable the legend to the right side, which shows both the colors and what they denote. So here we are using not only combo chart, but we are also enabling the secondary axis. We are not only using the combo chart, but we are also enabling the secondary axis. Please try, everyone. This was the last chart in this section. We are now going to go to the next type of chart, which is a chart with arrows, which is a chart with arrows. In order to use the chart with arrows, so basically you have a 2-year comparison being shown, and we are comparing the years 2010 to the year 2011. And if there is an increase in revenue, the arrow markers are going upwards. And if there is a decrease in revenue, the arrow pointers are going downwards. So basically, this is a chart. You can call it a column chart or a bar chart, but along with arrow markers to indicate whether there has been a gain or there has been a loss in terms of values. The first thing which we need to do is we need to find out the difference between these two values. One option is you do is equal to this minus this is equal to E25 minus D25. This will give you the difference in terms of values. But if you want the difference in terms of percentage wise, you can do is equal to E25 divided by D25 and minus 1. This is the shortcut to get you the value in percentage format. Then you can click here and choose percentage, and you can see the value in percentage form. So if you want to go for numeric value, you just do is equal to this minus this. So you're minusing the data of 2011 from the data of 2010. Whether you go in for percentage wise difference or you go for numeric wise difference, that is totally your call. It does not affect your answer or your arrow markers in any manner. I am putting both the formulae in the chat box. I am denoting both the formulae in the chat box. Please try this much, everyone. We just wait for everyone else to complete, and then we will use the if condition in order to display the arrow markers here. We will use the if condition in order to display the arrow markers here. In order to add the arrow markers, I'm going to go to insert, and under insert, under symbol, I'm going to add the arrow. Under arrows, you will find, under subset arrow, you will find the arrow mark. Click on insert and close. In one cell at one time, only one shape can be inserted. So this is my upward arrow. And in the adjoining cell now, I'm going to insert my arrow for pointing downwards. So symbol, arrow marker pointing downwards, insert and close. Now I'm going to write an if condition. I repeat, now I'm going to write an if condition. If the value is positive in nature in this, that means it is greater than 0, then it should give me in true value arrow pointing up. But if the value in this column is negative in nature, so I can either choose F column or I can refer to G column. Whichever column I refer to, my answer will still be the same, because for positive values, I am going to show arrow going upwards, and for arrow going downwards, okay, we are going to show for negative value. So is equal to if open bracket is equal to if open bracket, select the value greater than 0 is equal to if, select the value greater than 0, then select arrow going up. So if it is more than 0, arrow going up. Since I'm going to drag the formula down, when I'm referring to the arrow going upward cell, I will lock it with $sign. Since I'm going to drag this formula down, I'm going to lock the arrow going upward cell, comma, and for false value, I am going to give arrow going downwards. For false value, I am going to give arrow going downwards. Again, I'm going to lock this cell because when I drag the formula down, I want the answer to reflect at the whole column. And in order to make it a little more prominent, I can make the arrow markers bold from the font tab. Please try this, everyone. First, add your arrows. Second step, what will you do? First step, add your arrows. Second step, write the if condition. Does anyone want this to be repeated, or you all are familiar with the if condition with a true value and a false value? Are you all comfortable with the if condition? Good work. We'll wait for 2 more minutes for all the participants to complete. Once they have completed, we can start creating our chart. In order to create the chart, I'm going to select the column with the salesperson. I'm going to select the column with the number, with the year 2010, and I'm going to select the data with the year 2011. After doing that, I'll go to Insert, and under Recommended Charts, I will choose the Clustered Column Chart. Click on OK and increase the size of the chart. Now, if you see the arrow markers on the chart, they are very similar to data labels. Since these arrow markers are very similar to data labels, under data labels, you will get the item to put the arrow markers. So for that, I'll go to Add Chart Element, Data Label, and I'll say Outside End Data Label. After that, I will double click on any one of the data labels. And when I do that, Format Data Labels will open. In Format Data Labels, under Label Options, you can see something called Value from Cell. Value from Cell will enable me to give a selected range as the value that I want for the labels. I repeat, Value from Cell enables me to choose a list of arrows that I can use for my chart. Click on OK, and the arrows have come. Remove the value so that the arrows look prominent. Close this. Remove the values. Only let the arrow markers be. Click on the arrow markers. Go to the Home tab. Make it bold. And you can also increase the size of the arrows from the Increase Font option. In this way, you can create a chart with arrow markers instead of the data labels. But before you insert the arrows, you will first need to insert data labels, which are labels which give the value either above the chart, either along the bar, or in the center of the bar, or at the outside end of the bar. So please try this, everyone. Yes, sure, I will repeat it. First thing, select the salesperson, select the year 2010 and select the year 2011. Then under the Insert tab, under Recommended Charts, go for Clustered Column Chart. After creating the chart, you will then add data labels to your chart. In order to add data labels, let the chart be selected. Under Chart Design, there is Add Chart Element and enable data labels from here. at the outside end. Then double click on the data labels and you will see format data labels opens here. Under format data labels, under label options, there is label contains. Here you can choose value from cell. You can choose value from cell. And as soon as you enable value from cell, you will get select data range option where you can choose a range of cells in place of the data labels. Click on OK. Remove this value, remove the leader lines and close this. You can also click here and remove the values for the year 2011. Then click on these, make them bold in order to make it more prominent. And you could also increase the size from the font option. Please try, everyone. Once you all are done, we'll go to the next chart, which is called as the radar chart, which is actually a spider chart with a logo inside it. Let us click on the radar chart. Now this chart has also been used to create sparkle line charts. So if you want to create sparkle line charts, you can use this data to practice sparkle line charts. But otherwise, this data is used in order to create a chart with a logo on it. So every time the item is there, instead of a dot, or instead of a circle or any other plotted point, the logo has been plotted in this case. I repeat, for the number value, the logo, this feather option has been plotted. I'm going to make it really tiny so that I'm able to see the actual chart instead of this. So firstly, we are going to just select the data, that is the months and the values associated with it. After that, under insert, I will go to recommended charts, and under recommended charts, there is all charts. Under radar, I will choose radar with markers. Now these circle options which you see as markers on your chart, you can put your logo instead of those. I repeat, you can put your logo instead of this. Click on OK. Click and drag. Select this, copy it, and all you have to do is you have to go here on these, select all of them at one go after copying this. So copy this, select all of these at one go and just paste. So what will happen? Instead of those markers, this small little logo has been pasted on in place of the markers. So we choose a radar with markers, and all we do is take an image and just copy paste it. So copy the image and at one go select all of the markers and paste it there. Copy the image at one go, paste it on all of the markers. Please try this, everyone. Radar chart with markers. Anyone has any doubt or any question, or if anyone wants it to be repeated, let me know. We can repeat it before going ahead. So basically copy the logo and then come on these markers and just do a paste. Copy the logo, come on the markers and just do a paste. It will paste on all of the markers at one go. Just copy and paste it. I think your file has the logo. I think your file has the logo with you, like a small image. Yes, you can just resize and use it. If you have any other logo also, you can copy paste that as well. Perfect. I'm going to the sample superstore data in order to give you an overview of how to create dashboards with pivot tables. Now, as you all know, Excel dashboards is an entire different Pandora's box of Excel related functionality, but the basis is charts and graphs and pivot, and using the slicer and the timeline filter, we can create interactive dashboards in Excel as well. Since today is the last session, I'm going to give you an overview of dashboards so that in case you all plan to explore a bit, or in case you all plan to apply it in your day-to-day functionality, you can use it. For that, I'm going to use the sample superstore data. For that, I'm going to use the sample superstore data. Select the data and go to insert, and under insert, I will click on pivot table. Here it will ask me, select a table or a range of cells. It will ask me to select a table or a range of cells. Below that, it will ask me, choose where you want the pivot table to be placed, and I will choose new worksheet. Click on OK, and here is sheet 4 where I can place my items for my pivot table. So firstly, what I'm going to do is this is a normal pivot I'm creating. Add category. I'm going to add subcategory. And under that, I'm going to add sales reps. Now this data, I will now convert into a chart or a graph and then copy paste it on a new sheet. So this is a simple pivot that I've created. I will click on pivot chart and I will go ahead with a line chart with markers and say OK. Click and increase the size of the chart. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I will right click here, insert a new sheet, and on this new sheet, I will call this as dashboard. On this new sheet, I will copy only this chart and bring it. So copy the chart, go to the dashboard sheet and paste it. After that, what I will do is, I will add a slicer for this pivot chart. So under pivot chart analyze, I will click on insert slicer and I will add a slicer of the set. Move the slicer to this side, reduce the slicer size, make the button height more and place the slicer. So now when I click on consumer, you will see consumer related data. When I click on corporate, you will see corporate related data. When I click on home office, you will see home office related data. And when I click here, it will clear the data. When I click here, it will clear the data. Can you all try this much before we go ahead? Another thing I can do in order to give this more of a dashboard type look and feel, remove the legend since there's only one color. Right click on these field labels and say hide all field buttons on chart. This will remove all the field buttons on the chart and make your chart look clean and also delete your title. So now when you click on consumer, you see consumer related data. You click on corporate, you see corporate. Click on home office, you see home office. And from here, you can clear the filter. Remember, in order to clear the filter, Alt-C is the keyboard shortcut. In order to clear the filter, Alt-C is the keyboard shortcut. If you all are done with this much, let me know. So I will show you the second chart and how to connect everything together. If you all have completed, let me know so I can click on second chart and join both the charts together. Have you all completed this much, everyone? Okay, we'll go back to the sample superstore. And now we will insert another pivot table. In this pivot table, I am going to take the segment, or I'll take the ship mode, and I will take the profit. After this, I will go to pivot chart and I will insert this particular pivot chart. Make the pivot chart bigger, remove the title, remove the legend, and copy this, and on the dashboard sheet, scroll a little below and paste it here. Increase the size of the chart, close the pivot table field, and I'm zooming in a bit for you all to see how it looks. So see, I have one chart here, I have another chart here, and I have a slicer. Now, let me first remove these field buttons. And for this, I will add another slicer. Maybe I will add a timeline filter, or maybe I'll add a timeline filter and a slicer. So under pivot chart, click on insert slicer, and for region, I will add a slicer. Move this below this. Increase the size and the height of the buttons. And here, when I click on central, I see central related data. If I hold down control key, central and east, I see central and east related data. When I click here, I clear the data. So here I have segment and here I have region. I repeat, here I have segment and here I have region. But when I click on the region slicer, it only affects the lower pivot table. And when I click on this slicer on top, it only affects this particular category and subcategory table. So what I need to do is click on the slicer and under report connections, I will have to connect this segment slicer to pivot table number 18. I repeat, I need to link this particular segment slicer to pivot table number 18, which is here. Click on this and say OK. And now when I click on corporate, it will affect this as well as this. But the region slicer is still only making changes to this particular lower column chart. In order to connect this, under slicer, I will again go to report connections and connect this to pivot table number 17, which is on this sheet. Click on OK. Clear the slicer from here. After this, I will have to remember the keyboard shortcut Alt-C, because under slicer setting, I will remove the display header in order to look better. And here again, I will click on slicer setting and remove the display header and say OK. And now I have two slicers. Both of them are affecting both the pivot tables. All I have to do is go to view, remove the grid lines. And if I still want, I can go to insert. Under shapes, I can take this rectangle shape, make a big marquee box around here and send this backward. So send this to the back of all of the data. And this is how I can give a dashboard type effect. I can increase this in size. And on the top, I can insert a text box. I can insert a text box and call it 2023 dashboard. Select the font. Come here, increase the font size, centrally align it, and this is the dashboard. If I zoom in a little bit, you'll be able to see this is the dashboard and these are the slicers. To clear everything and to show all the data, Select it, do Alt C, it will clear. Select this, do Alt C, it will clear. Alt C will clear the pivot table slice. So in this manner, we can create a simple dashboard using charts, using graphs, and using the pivot table option. Please try this, everyone. The two important points, one is report connections, hide field labels, and in slicer, display header should be removed. I'm just increasing the font size here. These are few things which need to be remembered. Please try this, everyone. Please let me know if you all have any doubts or any queries or have you all completed it. If anyone would like to share their screen to show their work also, please let me know. I can give you access to share screen. Anyone wants to share their screen? Otherwise, I will go ahead with the last topic for today, which is an introduction to macros. For the introduction to macros, firstly, we need to enable the developer tab. So if your developer tab is not on, probably you will not be able to use macros. So you'll have to go to file and under options, you will have to enable the developer tab. Under customize ribbon, you will have to enable developer tab from Excel options. So under Excel options, customize ribbon, enable the developer tab. Say okay. That is the first step you need to do if you plan to record a macro. Now, if this is the data that I'm receiving on a regular basis, I repeat, if this is the data that I'm receiving on a regular basis, and I would like to quickly clean it up. I'm first going to take a copy of this data. Hold down Control key, move the sheet to the left or the right, and you will get a copy. After that, I will click on the first cell here, click on Record Macro. When I click on Record Macro, the macro name is Data Clean. That is the name I'm giving. I can assign a keyboard shortcut along with Shift. So Control Shift A is the keyboard shortcut that I am assigning to my macro. Where is this macro stored? In this workbook. And if I want to share any description about this macro, I can do that. Click on OK. And now our macro has started recording. Control Shift side, Control Shift down. Always select the data like this so that your entire data can get selected in a dynamic manner. Then under Home tab, I will go to Format and do Auto Fit Row Height and Auto Fit Column Width in order to refit it. Then I will click here, Control Shift plus, and I will add a new column. In this column, I will write contact and I will write is equal to trim in order to trim this data. Along with that, I will also write proper open. So trim and proper both to trim it and to make it proper piece. Control Shift down or double click in order to select. After that, what I am going to do is I will copy this data and in this column only I will paste it as values. Now it is not linked to the first column, so I can select this column and hit delete in order to delete the column. I will come here and I will put an if error function here. Open bracket. If you're getting a value, show the value, otherwise hyphen. Come to the corner, double click. So hyphen is being shown. Okay. If I would like to take away the bracketed area, I will select the data here, the entire thing, and under find and replace, I will come here and I will say whatever is in bracket. So open bracket, asterisk, close bracket is what I'm referring to. Replace it with empty cell and replace all. So wherever there are items with bracket, it is replaced that with blank. Once you're done with that, click here, go back to the developer tab, click on stop recording, and my macro has been recorded. I think by mistake, I have deleted the item in the profit margin because it has taken care of that as well. And that is the reason in the profit margin column, I got an error. Okay. So I will just try and run this macro on this data. So in order to run the macro, all I have to do is go to macros, choose the macro and say run. It will run the macro and give me. Okay. If I don't want to run it like this, I can also use the keyboard shortcut in order to run the macro. You will see that the bracketed item has been removed. You will see that the contact list is in proper and trim format, but it has made a mistake here in the profit margin column while taking into account the if error function and only retained if error. And that is the reason I'm getting a name error in the profit margin column. Other than that, all of my steps that I did as a part of data cleaning up was accomplished. Now, by default, whenever you record a macro, it is always an absolute reference macro. What do I mean by absolute reference? That means where I create it, it will create or replicate on the same cells on any other sheet. That means wherever I create it, it will replicate it on the same cells. it will replicate it on the same cells. Yes? So wherever I create it, it will replicate it on the same cells. Now, in order to do that, let us try something. I'm going to keep the cursor here. I will click on record macro. Let me call this formatting. Format. I'll add a keyboard shortcut Control Shift S. Say OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this area, yellow fill, all borders, serial number, name, department, region, salary, bonus. Okay. And here I will make a total row here and I'll put a formula as well. I'll write sum, open bracket, select the range, close bracket, enter. Now what I will do is I will go back to developer tab and stop record. Let us go to a new sheet. For example, sheet 1. And in sheet 1, all I will do is I will run this macro. Keyboard shortcut Control Shift S and you will see it has run this macro here. Overwriting what I already had written in terms of color. But if I start applying numbers here, you will see that the total is also getting calculated. So by default, the macro which is recorded is always an absolute reference macro and it runs on the same cells where it was recorded. So basically what I have tried to do is I have tried to give you an overview of macros and I have also tried to give you an overview of dashboards. So if you would like to go for more comprehensive programs on dashboards or on macros, you can get in touch with your team in order to arrange training programs for that or in order to add a couple of more sessions of that. And if you all have any questions, any queries, any feedback about the session, you can speak to me now. Let me know if you all have any questions or any queries. Or if you all want me to repeat any part of macros or of dashboards, let me know that as well. From where option developer can highlight. Okay, you want the developer tab, file, under file you have options and under quick access toolbar, you have above that customize ribbon. From here you can enable the developer tab. Let me know if you all have any questions or queries, or if anyone wants anything to be repeated, or if anyone wants to share a feedback about the training session. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Thank you for participating and making sure you all tried each option and followed along. I know online training is not as effective as offline training, but yes, we have tried to make it as interactive and as engaging as possible. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great evening and a very happy Diwali to everyone in advance and a happy Dhanteras to all of you all. And thank you so much. Special thank you for connecting on a holiday or on a festival day. Thank you, everyone. The recording is on the group. The recording is on the playlist. If you refresh the playlist, you'll get it. But today, what I will do is once I upload this recording, I'll send the playlist link, which has all 7 videos for all the days. So you can recap any day, and the title description has the topics which are covered.